success in the first place, because one thing you don't want to do is alienate the audience or start delivering a show that isn't consistent with what the audience is become accustomed to. So at the core of it, we're a procedural crime drama, and that's what will remain. Whenever they do give Greg the opportunity to expose a part of himself to the audience, I'm always excited about it, because I think Greg is a very interesting person with a very wicked sense of humor and a great taste in music and fashion. And I'd love to see how the writers see Greg, outside of the office, and what he does with his friends. And if there was a way to tie that into an episode that was about a crime, then I think the writers would be all over it. So, maybe I'll have to spend some time over the summer thinking about a way in which we can maybe find Greg, catch him off guard, where maybe when he's off duty he becomes involved in some type of crime.
CSI is not anymore the #1 show this year. It's been getting a little bit down. And there's another show on CBS, Without a Trace, which has still great ratings, but was cancelled. Aren't you afraid about all this change, the economic crisis, of course?
I try not to buy into the fear. It was definitely a big shock to hear that Without a Trace was canceled, and I thought it was a great show, and it deserves, to still have a place in the time slot. But there are reasons that you probably aren't aware of, that I'm not aware of, as to why the show might have gotten canceled, and maybe it's not the reasons that you think. So I'm not going to even speculate as to what they might be. But there's more to every story. Our show's doing just fine. Our show did end this season as the #1 drama, and it's still doing very well all over the world. When William Peterson left, the network made such a big deal about it. They did more promotion than they've really ever done for the show, and that explains why the show did so well in Billy's last episode. But there was no way that we could top that without the same level of promotion. So we still finished the season with an average of 20 million viewers an episode, which is pretty impressive. I have very little to do with it. I don't get upset about the ratings. I don't take it personally, because it's not up to me. I just do my job, which is to show up on time and to know my lines and hit my mark and make it believable. And that's what I'll continue to do, whether the show gets 20 million viewers or 17 million viewers. It really doesn't make a difference to me, because I'm not a number cruncher. I'm an actor.
Last year, George Litz told us that the only CSI for him was CSI Las Vegas, that CSI Miami and CSI New York didn't exist for him. Do you think the same?
George and I see things differently, and I certainly respect his opinion, but I also respect the right of other actors to take whatever job comes their way, and understand that television is a ruthless business, but also one in which you gotta take advantage of every opportunity. And there was an opportunity for the network to build a brand off of CSI, and they did it, and it's done quite well for them, and it's provided hundreds of people with a job, and those families have benefited from it. And children, have been put through school on that money that they might not have otherwise had if they didn't get the job on CSI Miami and CSI New York. And that goes beyond the actors. That goes to the writers and the crew. And we're all just people trying to get by in this business. So I have nothing against any of the shows, and I feel no competition with any of them. I'm friends with a lot of the other actors, and I've enjoyed getting to know them. And I don't watch a whole lot of television anyways, so I don't have any opinion of the show. I have the other shows. I don't really judge them. I'm very proud to work on our show, and I watch our show, and I think it looks great. Yeah, that's it.
If your character had to move, would you prefer to go to Miami or to New York?
I mean, I really like New York. I'm not. How can I say this so I don't get misquoted here? But I like the city. I like the Big Apple. I'm not really good with humidity, so I don't know if I would fare well in Miami. Although New York isn't that much better in the summer, but I like the seasons. I like winter. I grew up in Wisconsin, so I'm used to snow. But I've definitely gotten accustomed to the California summers and winters. But yeah, I mean, if the CSI Las Vegas came to an end, I would probably move on to the next thing. Yeah.
But,
I mean, I would have no choice, but I don't think I wouldn't want to carry on with another city.
what would be the role you dream of for a post CSI?
When I was first guest starring on CSI, I was working on pitching a TV show of my own that I created along with a friend of mine that was based on my adventures working in the music business. And it was a really cool idea for a TV show that would have gotten made had I not been offered the series regular job on CSI. So I feel like I spent 5 years of my life working for a major music company and just gaining experience of the business side of entertainment, and that's something I would like to continue to explore as a TV show. I'd like to do something set in a different world, something maybe that's a little bit funnier, maybe it has a little bit more to do with art and music, and something completely different from CSI. I'd like to do a comedy, something that doesn't involve blood and guts. But for the time being, it is a great job. But I've before CSI, I had done probably 75 different plays, all of which were unique. I mean, everything from Shakespeare to like Eric Bogosian to musical theater. That's part of the amazing quality of acting, is that you get to do